Welcome to True Fear Files, where we uncover the darkest and most chilling true stories that the world tried to forget. I'm your host, and tonight we're diving into one of the strangest and most terrifying unsolved cases in American history. A story about a serial killer who terrorized an entire city. A killer who broke into homes with an axe. A killer who sent a chilling letter to the newspapers. And a killer who made one bizarre demand: play jazz music or die. This is the story of the Axeman of New Orleans. Imagine this. You're sleeping peacefully in your bed. It's the middle of the night. Suddenly, you hear a noise. Before you can react, a dark figure is standing over you, holding an axe. You scream, but it's too late. The blade comes down. This nightmare became a reality for dozens of people in New Orleans between 1918 and 1919. And the man responsible was never caught. May 23, 1918, New Orleans, Louisiana. Joseph and Catherine Maggio, a married couple who ran a small grocery store, were asleep in their home. Around 3 a.m., Joseph's brothers, who lived next door, heard strange noises. They rushed over and found a horrifying scene. Joseph and Catherine had been attacked with an axe. Their throats had been slashed with a straight razor. Both were dead. Investigators examined the scene and found something chilling. The killer had entered through the back door, but he hadn't broken in. Instead, he had used a chisel to carefully remove a panel from the door, reached inside, and unlocked it. Once inside, he found the couple's own axe and used it to kill them. Then he left the bloody axe on the back porch and disappeared into the night. There were no witnesses, no clear motive, and no suspects. But this was just the beginning. Over the next year, the attacks continued. On June 28th, a baker named Louis Bessumer and his partner Anna Lowe were attacked in their sleep. Both survived, but Anna later died from her injuries. On August 5th, Anna Schneider was attacked. She survived. On August 10th, Joseph Romano was killed in his bed. His nieces, who were sleeping in another room, heard the attack and saw a shadowy figure fleeing. On March 10th, 1919, Charles and Rosie Cortimiglia were attacked. Charles survived, but their 2-year-old daughter, Mary, was killed. The attacks all followed the same pattern. The killer entered through the back door by chiseling out a panel. He used the victim's own axes. He struck in the middle of the night, and he targeted Italian immigrants or grocers. The city of New Orleans was gripped with fear. Families barricaded their doors. Some people slept with weapons by their beds. Hardware stores sold out of axes as people hid or destroyed them. Terrified, the killer would use their own tools against them. But despite the fear, despite the investigations, the Axeman was always one step ahead. Then on March 13th, 1919, something unprecedented happened. The Times-Picayune, a major New Orleans newspaper, received a letter. It was allegedly from the Axeman himself, and it was one of the most bizarre and chilling messages ever sent by a serial killer. The letter began: Hail March 13th, 1919, esteemed mortal of New Orleans. They have never caught me, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible, even as the ether that surrounds your earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. The letter went on to mock the police and the people of New Orleans, but then it made a strange demand. The Axeman wrote, now, to be exact, at At 12:15 earthly time on next Tuesday night, I am going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I am going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well then, so much the better for you people. One thing is certain, and that is that some of your people who do not jazz it out on that specific Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe. The city didn't know what to make of it. Was it real? Was it a hoax? But people weren't willing to take chances. On the night of March 19th, 1919, New Orleans exploded with jazz music. Dance halls were packed. Bars and clubs played jazz all night. Families who didn't go out played jazz records at home. The streets were filled with music. It was one of the most surreal nights in the city's history. An entire population dancing and celebrating, not out of joy but out of fear. And it worked. No one was attacked that night. Whether the Axeman kept his word or the letter was a hoax, no one knows. But the music seemed to have saved lives. After that night, the attacks became less frequent. On August 10, 1919, Sarah Lauman was attacked but survived. On October 27, 1919, Mike Pepitone was killed in bed. His wife and 6 children were in the house but saw nothing. However, a neighbor reported seeing a man fleeing the scene, described as heavy-set and wearing dark clothing. And then, just as suddenly as the attacks began, they stopped. The Axeman vanished. No more murders, no more letters, no arrests. The case went cold. But there was one final strange twist. In December 1920, over a year after the last attack, a woman named Esther Albano shot and killed a man named Joseph Mumfre in Los Angeles. When asked why, she said Mumfre was the Axeman of New Orleans. She claimed he had killed her husband, Mike Pepitone, the last confirmed victim. Esther said she had followed Mumfre to California and took justice into her own hands. Investigators looked into Mumfre's background. He had a violent criminal history and had been released from prison shortly before the Axeman attacks began. He was also imprisoned during a period when the attacks mysteriously stopped, then resumed after his release. Could Joseph Mumfre have been the Axeman? It's possible, but there's no definitive proof. Esther Albano was convicted of murder but served only 3 years. Some believe she was a hero who stopped a serial killer. Others think she killed an innocent man in a misguided act of revenge. We'll never know for sure. Who was the Axeman of New Orleans? And why did he do it? Over the decades, several theories have emerged. Theory 1, Joseph Mumfre was the Axeman. The timeline matches, his criminal background fits, and Esther Albano's conviction that he killed her husband is compelling. But without forensic evidence, it's impossible to confirm. Theory 2, the Axeman was targeting Italian immigrants as part of a vendetta or organized crime. Most of the victims were Italian grocers. Some believe the Axeman was enforcing extortion rackets, punishing those who didn't pay protection money. But this doesn't explain the randomness of some attacks or the bizarre letter. Theory 3, the Axeman was a deranged individual who killed for pleasure. The attacks had no clear financial motive. The killer didn't steal. He simply wanted to kill. The letter could have been his way of taunting the city and feeding his ego. Theory 4, the letter was a hoax, and the Axeman was just a common criminal. Some believe the letter was written by someone unconnected to the crimes. perhaps a prankster or a journalist looking for a story. The real killer, they argue, was simply an opportunistic burglar who panicked and killed when discovered. To this day, the identity of the Axeman of New Orleans remains a mystery. The case is officially unsolved. But the legend lives on. The Axeman became a part of New Orleans folklore, a dark figure in the city's history. Songs were written about him. The letter was reprinted in books and newspapers, and every year, jazz enthusiasts remember that strange night in March 1919 when an entire city played music to keep a monster at bay. The Axeman of New Orleans killed at least 6 people, possibly more. He terrorized a city. He wrote one of the most bizarre letters in criminal history. And then he disappeared, leaving behind only questions and fear. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more chilling true crime stories like this. And let me know in the comments, do you think Joseph Mumfre was the Axeman? Or is the real killer still unknown? Until next time, stay safe, and maybe keep some jazz music handy just in case.